Hi, I'm John Wellen. Welcome to AI for UX. This is the space where UX researchers and product leaders stay current with AI innovations. As I mentioned, I'm John. I'm the founder of Brilliant Experience, and we're a psychology driven product innovation firm. So I know I've struggled to keep up with all the new AI tools for UX and product research, and I'm guessing I'm not alone. That's why I started this series. In each installment, like today, we'll speak with the founder of one of the latest AI research tools and dive into the inspiration, how it might benefit you, and ultimately where this field is headed. Um, a quick note that these videos aren't product endorsements, and we always pay full price at Brilliant Experience for any technologies we use, and no one's getting paid. This is just to learn more about new technologies together. So with that, let's get started. I want to welcome Tash. So Tash Ahmed is the founder of User Evaluation, and it's a tool that converts customer data into strategic assets using AI analysis. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this interview. We're delighted to have you here.
Thanks for having me. That's excited for this chat.
Cool. Yeah, me too. It's a really interesting product, and you too. So I actually am really interested in just getting started with who ultimately is user evaluation for. Who's your target audience, and kind of what sort of pain points does it address?
So we are primarily targeting people who do research. So a lot of people need insights on their product. They have a lot of data. But the problem that we have seen is that a lot of the time is spent in analysis, and a lot of the times we do not have the time to actually use that data to derive meaning out of it. So how
Mhm.
user evaluation was initially born was, hey, can we reduce that analysis part and make analysis of qualitative data super easy so that we can get all these insights and derive meaning out of it and drive strategy from there.
Oops. Very nice. And yeah, makes perfect sense. And I, I guess, one thing that I've learned over the course of studying user evaluation is just how sort of comprehensive it is. Can you maybe describe a scenario when someone might use this tool and kind of how their work might how they might work a little differently?
So um, a lot of product people talk to their customers to understand how their product is doing, or in other cases, just to conduct some research to then make decisions based on that. And how user evaluation comes in the picture is towards the end of the process. The analysis and dissemination part is something that where we think users spend a lot of hours, and we want to reduce the number of hours spent in analysis and then dissemination of that information. So a scenario could be, I conduct a lot of interviews with my customers, and now I have like all these video interviews where I know what we talked about, but like I have a rough
Hmm.
idea of like, hey, these many customers said this, and then the
Hmm.
rest said that, but I don't have like a high level picture of, hey, can I consolidate all that data to then derive meaning out of it? So I can just throw in all my data. So it could be audio, video, text, or CSV files,
Hmm.
and then user evaluation will come up with insights on a per file basis. But then we also have tools that allow you to aggregate data and then derive meaning out of it using data visualizations or simple AI tools that actually consolidate all that information.
Yeah. Um, and I mean, that's a lot. And I actually am really interested another time to talk to you about all the skills that requires to bring this stuff together and technology and so on. It's very impressive. Um, I guess there are some tools now that try to do similar things to what you're doing. Maybe you can give me a sense of what are the things to you that make your product unique or maybe better in certain circumstances?
So user evaluation is AI first. And that is why a lot of the tools we provide have AI in its center. And AI was seen as a platform shift last year, and there was like a boom of like AI tools and everything. And that actually tells us that, hey, AI can be a really good tool for this scenario of analysis of data where you have like lots of data and you're trying to derive meaning out of it. But more than that, user evaluation has been a tool that users are using to get more ideas. So, hey, I have my data and I can like get insights on that, and then I can, share those insights with my team, and all that is great. But then can I go beyond that and like come up with new ideas? And in a way,
Mm.
can AI act as this tool that actually helps me brainstorm or think about new ideas? So user evaluation has been doing that, and that is something that makes it unique, given all the AI tools we have
Mm.
integrated into the system, and how you can use that to actually get insights and then new ideas.
Well, and I think you anticipated one of my questions, but uh, which was just how people should think about using a tool like yours and how they might do things differently than they have otherwise. And it does really sound like this notion of interrogation of the data, and also actually maybe you can describe a little bit. You help to visualize things, I think, a little more than many tools do, and uh, right, you can ask it questions and so on. So maybe you can just give me a sense of how I could do things differently than I would have if I never had user evaluation.
So data visualizations in the context of qualitative data are primarily hard to do, because if you have quant data, it's just easy to like sort of plot it on a graph. You can use bar charts, and there's so many visualizations. For qualitative data, it is a challenge to actually provide valuable information using
Mm-hmm.
data visualizations. But we do know that like you can get like a lot of themes, and you can easily like sort of understand data if you have these visualizations. So we have like tools like, we have tags that convert into bar charts. We have in our the chat feature, in the report feature, we have like pie charts, bar charts, and like flow charts for workflow diagrams. Um, and all of those sort of visualizations actually help users get like a high level sort of overview of like what's happening. How we think about like user workflow is to actually understand what they're currently doing,
Mm-hmm.
and where's the room to actually change that behavior slightly. So we would want them to actually keep their workflow.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why you'll see in the product that there's multiple ways of doing the same things. So we show insights in one way, but then we got this feedback that users want to see insights side by side with their transcript, and we allow
Mm-hmm.
that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that is excellent. We will. I promise to let you show it in just a sec, and this is great. Just before we get there, I did want to ask, because there are things like, for example, the AI is can auto tag things, or you can ask questions and it responds. People still have concerns about whether there be anything like a hallucination or some sort of bias. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about how you're tuning your product to address these issues, and how it's a if it's a walled garden, that kind of thing.
So that has been like a huge challenge. And I think generally with these AI models, there's like room for like hallucinations and everything. And our primary focus has been to mitigate those issues, and create like sort of this trust with but we are not there yet. So a lot of people do not trust AI generally,
Mm-hmm.
and that is why we have kept human in the loop, in a way that we provide insights, but then with those insights we provide the right context, that hey, this is where it's
Mm-hmm.
coming from. And what you can also do is then go back to the transcript, because, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if you want to see what's the context before or after this source, so you can go back to it. So with everything we generate using AI, and we do a lot of it proactively for users, we make sure that there's like a real context where this information is coming from, and that is how we're currently mitigating sort of this bias or hallucinations.
Got it. And I appreciate it. Well, I think we've held our audiences captive enough. Maybe we should show them what you mean. And so maybe you just remind us, if you can show us. I'll work on sharing your screen, but maybe you can set the stage on, like, where you are in the product, and what you kind of plan to walk through.
So right now we have like a very solid analysis platform where we can let users just like self-serve themselves and like just join. So when you join, you'll see some projects, and again, it might be an empty screen, or we will lead you into like creating your first project. But for every sort of study you conduct, you can create a project, or every survey you conduct, you can create a project, and all that data is housed inside that project. So, for example, I can sort of create a new project from here, and then there's like several different ways of bringing in my data. So I can simply like upload my files. So it could be audio, video, text, or CSV files. But then also all the files are stored in my file library, so I can go back to them and like bring them into another project as well.
Hmm.
But we have a meeting note taker that you can add to calls, and like it would automatically bring in insights for you and like get added to this project. I have a project ready. Just in the interest of time, I can go through this one. So I have two calls that were conducted on user experience of this app in the early stages, and I have some transcript over here. So once the sort of project is ready for after we run the analysis and everything, you'll automatically see a few different things. And I'll go through not all, but like just like a few things that we have. But the primary thing that we notice is like a lot of our users spend time in a specific tab they like. And that like I'll come back to my initial point of like every user has their own workflow, and we want to
Mm-hmm.
support all of that. Which is why, so for example, a lot of our users like to spend time over here, so I can go through this transcript. But then I can also sort of see that, hey, if I want to add tags, I have like this feature of like tag with AI, and I can write some instructions, and it would create tags like this, where it would sort of also tell me the occurrences and everything. And I can, since it's like my instructions, I can give it instructions to tag all the pain points that were mentioned, or all the names of different softwares that were mentioned. So, and so on. So tags is an amazing feature in that way that like it allows users to get like a glimpse of like what's there in the transcript. But we go beyond that, and we actually share like insights that are AI generated right away. So users don't need to request them. Obviously, you can add more insights, but as soon as the project is ready, uh, users get these insights along with the source. So there's source from my transcript, and I can highlight it in the transcript or play the video from there. So it'll take me back to the transcript, and it'll say that, okay, this is where it's coming from. And then I can like sort of see the context above and below this. So sorry, did you have any questions here?
Oh, if you don't mind, yes, please. It's really interesting. So if it's doing the auto tagging, it would try to keep the sort of set of tags consistent across our, if there were 14 interviews or whatever it might be. Um, I guess I was trying to see, so I can see both the comments it's making and the source for those.
Exactly. So it will keep context of the tags that are already generated, or if you want to add your own tags manually, I'm able to do it by like just like selecting, and then I can add a tag manually. But all my tags are saved in a Kanban board format over here,
Mm-hmm.
so I can go back to them and then also like see a chart of like the occurrences, like, and all the tags that are there. So frequency of tags. So yeah, we have all of that built in. Um, and then on the insights as well, like this workflow is like quite interesting because we expect our users to actually go through all these insights. And then some of them delete the insights they don't want, but the others actually add it to their collection. So we provide a Kanban board where there's like, so for example, if I like this insight, I can just add it to my collection, and then I can view my collection and, organize these insights. But like some users prefer just deleting it and just like keeping the rest of the insights over here. Um, Now, there's another type of user that wants to see insights next to the transcript. So we have like this feature where insights kind of appear next to transcript, and all these insights are color coded. And then you can see that, okay, this is referring to this part of the text. So you'll be able to like sort of derive that meaning, and you can do all of the functionality related to the insights is available here as well.
Cool. Just a quick question. You mentioned deleting some insights. I do picture, okay, an imaginary product owner who would forever remain nameless, wanting to delete something where everyone's like, hey, you should really change this, and there's a lot of data from it. What would be the rationale for allowing folks to delete these insights? Would it just be like maybe it was covered elsewhere, or it's not as clear maybe by the AI as I might want to present it myself? What would be a rationale in your mind?
Mainly workflows. So just some users prefer their Insights tab to be very sort of
Okay.
neat. And because we allow them to actually manually create these insights. So for example, if I just want to create my own insight, I'll
Right.
just highlight and then add an insight over here. It'll just go back to the same tab. But that's just about like,
Right.
supporting the workflow they have.
And the Kanban can go across studies then. So if we've done a series of things on a new feature, we can have those across. I don't know. We did interviews internationally and then in US based and so on.
So things inside projects, we are trying to keep them sort of separate from other projects, mainly because it just like creates this room for you to actually create all your data and not like even confuse AI. Because again, since we're working with AI on all these tabs and all these features, it just becomes tricky to actually sort of mix that data. But then again, what we've seen is then users bring in existing files again to this project. So I can, if I
Yeah.
have another file in another project, I'll just bring it in here.
Yeah, that's what I heard you mention that earlier. And that was an interesting workflow. So just like bring the ones you want for a singular set of insights. So you might well have different mixes of the studies. Okay, cool. Well, here, I should let you continue. What else did you want to make sure that we learn about?
So again, we have like a lot of sort of tabs, and it kind of is arranged in a way uh, based on like sort of a workflow that we think is more common. So when a project is ready, users land on the transcript and then they look at insights, and this is for their own sort of purpose, and they're trying to understand, make meaning out of this data. And then we have a chat tab, and I won't go into too much detail over here because I want to explore some other tabs. But basically, this is just like ChatGPT with the context of all your files. So for example, now, if I have a question that, hey, can you consolidate all that data and derive meaning out of it? Uh, it will be able to do so, and it will give me insights over there. But then the rest of the tabs over here, so report, presentation, and clips are mainly for like sort of dissemination of information. So for a report, I can use AI to actually generate a report on customer complaints, or like, the pain points noticed during these sessions, and it will consolidate all that data. Similarly, presentation, we don't have a built-in presentation tool, but like we provide a PowerPoint presentation that you can download and then edit in PowerPoint. And similarly, clips is like a very frequent thing. So you can like just go to the data tab and then create clips from here. Or there's another workflow where users want to trim video, in which case they can just like add a start and end time and then create clips over there. So I can quickly sort of write a prompt and try this one out just to see how it works. Um, And then it will look at the data that I have and it'll try to like sort of derive meaning out of it. And there's a sort of a workflow that we follow to create these and again, since the model is stochastic, every time we generate these reports, it will be different. So, and again, like this is a text editor, so we allow users to actually
Hmm.
edit these reports and then be able to like sort of share that as a sort of public link with their team.
Interesting. So is the model that you'd imagine? Actually, yeah, I guess I have two questions for you. One is it strikes me how well you've thought through these workflows. And so, is that from your own personal experience, or is that from studying the people that I guess, how has your thinking evolved in terms of people's workflows? It just seems like you've put a lot of thought into that. So I want to ask.
So just by talking to our customers, like our initial customers, and just generally like people who conduct research, so product people, and just like sort of understanding how different they were, and really like how can we fit it in a frame that works for a lot of these customers was the initial goal. And then again, like sort of my personal experience as well has been that it's not a linear process. For some studies you need like you need to go through a different process, and the software needs to support that.
And first of all, I want to preface my next question with there are so many things you've got here. It is very impressive. Is So if I had other kinds of data like survey data, is that something that I can try to bring in at this point? And I'm just learning.
Absolutely. So user evaluation supports text and documents, PDFs, but then also CSV. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the server data comes in as CSV, and then it is able to do all of this. But then some tabs might not be relevant in that scenario. So, for example, presentation clip might not be relevant. But then we still keep it there because you can have a mixture of data. So you can have
Mm-hmm.
some survey data combined with your interviews, and then you want to combine and get insights out of it.
Right. No, it makes perfect sense. Cool. And I guess I'm this is at your discretion, but I did want to ask. So what we've done is sort of started with recordings or sort of raw data and gone from there to synthesis and reporting. Um, if I'm right, user evaluation has some ways to collect the data as well. Is that something that you'd like to present or just talk through, or maybe you can tell me more?
So our latest offering is this AI tool which allows you to create a call. It is just like a sort of a Zoom or a Google Meet format call in a browser where an AI conducts an
Oops.
interview. And our focus there has been to actually allow users to have like a natural experience. So interviews tab is available to some of our customers who are on this product. And basically what we do is we can launch AI curated interviews. And even the launch process is something where we support users and allow them to actually so if I select this prompt from here as an example, I can just go ahead and it would generate my script. It would help me so I can just choose user evaluation panel, or if I have like my own users, I can pick those, and then I can go from there. And it already generated like a sort of a screener for me that I can edit now. So the screener is auto-generated, the script is auto-generated, all it tries to understand everything else. And then after that process, it is able to sort of conduct that call with these users automatically and bring back insights into a project that you just need to see.
Wow. Um, and yeah, sorry. One of the things that we've learned about some of the possibilities here are how much you might allow a tool to do any sort of follow-ups, or how much sort of range they get to adapt to a call versus sort of staying with a script. What's been your approach to that kind of concept?
So it follows the script, but it goes off script whenever there's like an opportunity to do so. And we've seen that AI can do a great job over there.
Hmm.
The challenge with that is like having like a natural conversation flow. And a lot of these tools aren't there yet because there's technical challenges around like, how people just communicate and just using some sort of technical tools that allow you to actually understand that, okay, now is my time to talk and not speak over humans. And there's like those sort of challenges that we've been working on, and to a large extent we've been able to like
Hmm.
solve that, and it is like a natural flow of conversation in which like it can refer back to the things that the user said during the call, which makes it very a very valuable tool.
Huh. And actually, I apologize for not having this to memory, but are you presenting questions as the AI moderator through visuals like text, or is it actually saying them aloud to the participant? How's that working right now?
So it speaks them, and then also there's like text as well. Just so we wanted that experience to mimic exactly what is there on these tools that allow you to have calls online. So it's just like an online call, but instead of a human, it is an AI. And a lot of the times, users are quite comfortable sharing more
Hmm.
with an AI than a human being. So kind of works in that regard as well.
And I wanted to ask, so this is sort of a step back in our interview, but there's so much here. I just want to make sure, is there anything else you wanted to make sure we cover before we talk a little more about you and your inspiration, how you got started on this?
No, I think that's we can jump to the rest of the questions.
Okay, well, thank you very much for showing us user evaluation. So, I mean, I think this is a good time to think about. You created something that was super thoughtful for researchers and clearly is very comprehensive. Hats off to your ambition there too. But what inspired you to go from where you were to doing this kind of thing?
So I saw a problem in my workflow, and I have like a few friends who are researchers, and just like talking to them, there's like this problem of like spending too many hours in
Hmm.
analysis and dissemination. And it's generally like a very painful process because you've been through all the interviews and you kind of know what happened over there, but now you have to like sort of consolidate all the insights and make like this beautiful presentation and all of that, and then share it with your team. Um, we wanted to reduce that time and like in a way where AI acts as a sort of collaborator with human beings rather than like taking their jobs and doing it itself, because we're not there yet. So users don't have trust. AI is not that good. We know that. It will get better in the next few months or years, but we're not that there yet. And that is why sort of a tool like this, where you can quickly do a lot of your tasks and reduce the amount of
Hmm.
time you spend on analysis, and then that saves you time to do the work or like to share
Sure.
that information with your team. That was the main goal.
Got it. No, and there are hours that can't that have the opportunity to be saved. I appreciate you also trying to tackle this, and also just as a sort of meta thing, um, it's clear that you're being measured in what the AI can do today versus it's magical and does everything, and I appreciate your sort of groundedness in what it can and can't do. Well, and maybe in that context, as you've been developing and launching your product, is there anything that you've been working really hard on that are sort of, or your team, that achievements or milestones that you're really proud of that were tough to get to?
So we've heard very positive feedback from our users. So one of our users said that uh, so I used to spend 8 hours just doing analysis of these interviews after my interview. So there's like a very recurring pattern of like 6 interviews with users, usually like 30 to 45 minutes, and then analyzing them in like 8 hours. And that 8 hours, user evaluation reduced it to 30 minutes. And that I thought was, okay, this is transformative. And this is something where we're really bringing in value.
Mhm.
And that was only possible because we allowed for like all those tools and like flexibility for them to like adopt into their workflow.
Nice. And this is probably a great segue for thinking about the future. So I guess let me start with how you see sort of the field evolving, and then secondly, we can ask about your product. So I had a question here that said, where do you see these things going in the next few years? And things are changing so rapidly that we need to think in more narrow terms. But um, sort of in the maybe it is a little more in the longer term vantage point. How do you see like product research or discovery research or UX? It kind of doesn't matter what you call it. How do you see this evolving over the next few years? How will we work differently because we have these new opportunities?
So last year, it was when it was like 20% of researchers used to say that, hey, I'm using AI in my workflow. And then this year, it has gone up to like over 50%. So it's really like a lot of researchers are adopting AI in their workflow in general. And then over the next years, AI will become like the norm. So really for analysis, we will have like plenty of tools. We will have like all this opportunity to like save time using AI to actually do all this analysis and automate a lot of our processes. And then how I think the sort of the product direction would evolve over time is that we will try to bring in tools that actually help our customers create this knowledge base that they can ask questions to. But beyond that, we think that agents, such as the
Mm-hmm.
one where it conducts a meeting for you, but then also like sort of agents for analysis, but then agents for testing as well. So if it has context of all your data, it is able to not only answer your question, but be able to operate your website or your product and then come back with insights and say that, okay, I had this insight, but using your product, you're not really doing it. So there's room for improvement. So really like
Mm-hmm.
creating these agentic workflows where AI is able to like sort of go through multiple different steps and come back with insights.
Mm-hmm. And for our UX researcher friends, if you're not familiar with this notion of agentic workflows, that you've got AI agents that are working with you, there's actually a really good video on YouTube from Andrew Ning that he's one of the founders of deep learning, and he talks about that in one of the funder conferences and its power. So it's really interesting to hear you say that as well. Um, is there anything that, and this is where you're at your discretion to share what you can, we know what's appropriate, but is there anything we should be anticipating that's upcoming with user evaluation?
So in the next few months, we are launching a few exciting features for to help researchers conduct interviews better. There's very soon you'll see like live notes. Very soon you'll see like a lot of other features where we support the interview process while it's being conducted. But then also with the analysis part, there are like some features that are coming up. But then we will, since we are towards the end of the process in the workflow, we are trying to look into like sort of conducting better interviews with AI or conducting surveys with AI. So all those features are
Mm-hmm.
in the pipeline.
Nice. And honestly, this has been very comprehensive. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention before I ask you about people being able to try your tool?
So no, thank you so much for the opportunity here. I'm quite excited about the field, and I think there's a lot that we can do in the field in terms of like sort of saving people time, providing them with transformative value. Um, and, and just to answer your next question,
Sure,
it's
please go ahead.
to yeah, just to start, it's just super simple. We provide a free account to onboard users, and the free account has AI credits. So a lot of our users start with like the free account. They try it out with like a video or two, and then they're able to like sort of understand how the product works. And if they like it, they subscribe.
And actually, that's just a last note of sort of who your sort of ideal target user is. So there can be groups that are very small consultancies, or maybe a user experience team of one, and then there can be very large teams at these big multinationals. How are you? Is there? Do you have a particular focus, or do you try to cater to different groups?
So we've seen a lot of our customers are smaller teams, mainly because like even in larger teams, there's like a small team of researchers that is working on uh, you know conducting research and like getting insights. So a lot of our offering that is self-serve is for smaller teams. So individuals sign up and even like smaller teams sign up. If there is a larger team, then we sort of do a little bit of hand holding and then we onboard them manually.
Hmm. Got it. Well, great. Thank you so much, Tash. And user evaluation is really interesting. I'm really glad that I got a chance to see a little bit straight from you and sort of your vision. And again, it came out loud and clear how thoughtful you've been about in addition to getting great quality, thinking about the workflow of a some sort of researcher or product person. And I think that'll serve you well from all us UX researchers. So great. Well, thank you very much. And so I'll sort of officially sign us off. So thank you so much. That's all for today. Keep tuning in with the latest on AI for UX research. And please subscribe if you enjoyed today, and let us know what other tools you'd like us to feature next.